i.e. Kamala Harris, on Call Her Daddy. So, she went on the podcast. The podcast got over 5 million views in like 24 hours, some stupid numbers.
Crazy.
And yeah, I mean, did you watch it?
A little bit.
Okay.
Honestly,
How do you feel about it?
I I think it was very interesting. I think it was an interesting choice for Kamala Harris. But apparently it was done on an invite basis. So like Alex Cooper, the host of Call Her Daddy, reached out to both Trump and Camilla to do the interview, but Trump had declined. So she ended up with Camilla.
Yep.
But I think it made sense for Camilla because of, like, when you think of Call Her Daddy and what type of viewer or what type of listener is listening into her stuff, it would align more with Camilla.
Yeah.
But I think it's super interesting to see them just kind of step into the space.
Yeah.
And I want to say that it's because, like, a lot of news outlets or news places, like, people think that they're like heavily influenced by, like, for example, like Fox News, I think, has a reputation of being like very conservative. And like the BBC in the UK are known to be very influenced by the media. Like, they're not meant, they have like a pact with the monarch to like not comment on them.
There's a narrative that they run with. Every I guess news company has something that has a certain talking points that they're always has a certain storyline that they're running with. I thought it was really interesting because, I mean, it was a 45-minute podcast. I did listen to like the first 20 minutes, and then I just like zoned out. But I thought it was interesting that Alex Cooper, the host, at the beginning was like, I don't know if the word is like pleading, but like she was almost pleading with the audience that like, disclaimer, guys, I did invite both. Like, I don't know. I don't know what the word is, but I'll just move on from that.
No, keep
Okay, so
keep
no,
going.
I think it was like disingenuous for her to be like, okay, for the record, we did invite Trump, but he said no.
How so?
Because it's basically like, okay, so the second that episode came out, she had lost a bunch of followers, right?
Yeah.
And her saying that in the beginning of the podcast was like kind of being like trying to, I don't know what the word is, like trying to beat the audience to the gun of like, I did invite both, I promise, this is like unbiased, blah, blah, blah. When it's like, she probably is biased. She probably is going to vote for Kamala. Just like run with that.
Nah,
thing.
I feel like, to be honest, like, it's important for someone like that to take charge of the narrative, because otherwise, like, if you're not taking charge of the story ends up running you. And at least in this sense, she knew that she needed to be ahead of it. And she knew what people were going to say. People are going to feel one way or the other. And like with the Trump thing, I think it's good that she wanted to invite both. I think it's that, like, and I think it's good to give people context that there was an opportunity to hear from the other side. But then it was on the other side to like not want to do it. But at the same time, I don't know. I don't disagree with you that she's probably going to be a Camilla supporter. But at the same time, I feel like she tried her best to have it be like a balanced kind of thing. Yeah. Because you can have your personal beliefs. Like, I can have my personal beliefs, but still be open to listening to the other side.
Yeah, I think the other thing that was really interesting was like, Trump also was on a podcast the same week. He was on the Flagrant podcast, which is a podcast I listen to regularly, and it was like really interesting because I heard of Trump's appearance on that podcast before Kamala's, and they came out like 24 hours within each other. So like that
Interesting.
was that was kind of ooh, because I know especially Trump more than Kamala has declined a bunch of like traditional appearances like the 60 Minutes. TV network, a bunch of like Fox News, CNN, all of them, and I think in general it's a good thing. I like where this where this new age media stuff is going, because you
Yeah.
get to. I feel like it's almost a turnoff when I see any politician on a traditional news network, because I just know they're gonna say what the talking points are, blah blah blah. But when they sit with a podcast host that has almost nothing to do with politics, you can kind of see like a more human side of them. Granted, they are pushing their whole agenda, their propaganda for like the whole 2 hours, blah blah blah. But I think it's you get to see a little bit of a different side of them, which is like kind of key for a voter.
And also, like, when was the last time that you listened to the news? Like,
Yeah.
that you actually watched the news to
Exactly.
get the news? Like, I put my hand up for this. A lot of what I know that's what's happening in the world right now is literally from TikTok videos.
Yeah.
It sounds really bad, but that's the fact.
Yeah.
And, like, they know that, like, in terms of the older generation, like, their vote is very set in stone already. They're
Yeah.
either fully Democrat or they're fully, like,
Republican.
Republican, sorry, my bad. But with the younger generation, there's still room for persuasion.
Yeah.
And I think it's a smart choice to target them, because realistically, that's where the sway vote is.
Yeah.
Like, that's where you're able to kind of like persuade one way or the other.
Yeah.
And it's really cool, I think, just to see it move there. Granted, well, is that really the future of politics? You know, but what I don't want to see,
What?
politicians doing like TikTok trends.
Bro, they both are doing it right now. Heavy. Like, not like specific TikTok trends, but like, I keep seeing like these like, I don't know what to call, almost like edits of like Trump and Kamala, and it's like.
I don't mind edits, but when they do like, I don't know, when they.
Have they done an actual trend?
Don't
Have
give
you
me like a.
seen- What?
I'm thinking about the current Prime Minister of New
Yeah.
Zealand. If you see his TikTok account,
No.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, just
That
doing.
is, I have that account blocked. It's one of the worst accounts I've ever seen in my life. I promise you. It's so bad. It's so bad. It's, I don't know. It's just giving like, oh, the unpaid intern. is
Like, I'm
trying to
sorry, who's
force-
running it?
Yeah.
But anyway,
Yeah.
back to Camilla.
Yeah.
But let's insert a video here somewhere
Yeah.
of like him doing like a really cringy trend.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. No, I think the interesting thing is that like this is cool and all, but like I think had Kamala not had the appearance on Call Her Daddy, I think she would have still had like the predominantly female vote. I think the interesting play is that if she goes on these like opposing media outlets, like let's say she goes on like Joe Rogan, or she goes on like the podcast that Trump went on, I feel like that would be interesting, because if
Yeah.
she's already
Yeah.
like she's kind of confirming the biases of the audience that was gonna vote for her anyway.
Yeah.
So that almost wasn't gonna do anything for her
Yeah.
campaign.
I kind of want to see her like sit down with like Andrew Tate or something.
Yeah.
Or like Joe Rogan.
Yeah.
Just to like, because I feel like they'll challenge her on a lot of views.
Yeah.
And I think it'll be really interesting to see where she really stands on those views.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that pairing would have been really interesting.
Yeah.
But I think in itself is a big risk for her.
Yeah.
And probably a risk that her PR team isn't like
course.
willing to take.
Yeah.
But it would be so interesting
Yeah.
because like people would expect those podcast hosts to have certain opinions.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I think her going on Rogan would be insane.
Yeah.
Rogan is like I don't know about him, but his audience is generally like more conservative and stuff. So if she goes on and she like has a like a compelling argument for every pushback that she's getting, I think she could sway the voting power pretty well.
But to be honest, when was the last time that a politician had a compelling argument? It's just
Nope.
pulling stuff out of their ass.
Yeah. Politics.
Like when you really listen to what they're saying.
Yeah.
Aside from the ideologies or like the nice to haves, like
Yeah. That's
yeah.
Yeah. I watched Trump on Flagrant, and yeah, it was kind of the equivalent, like really, because again, like I think I don't know about Kamala's appearance on Call Her Daddy, but it was almost like Trump was trying to be a bit funny, and so I think that with that is like It's something about trying to say some fucked up shit and then saying some funny joke about it and be like, it's humor. Something about that is so disarming that it's like, you can kind of like stomach the most fucked up shit in the world if they go about it in like a funny-ish way.
Yeah, I feel like the thing about Trump is that he teeters the line between like actually speaking to what like conservative America wants and also being outrageous enough that people don't take him seriously.
Yeah.
So he comes out as like a unsuspecting kind of like actual contender because people who take him seriously actually act on what he says, which is sometimes on the other end of the spectrum and like incites shit. But people who don't support him generally don't take him seriously enough to want to really listen or watch what's happening.
Of course.
But look, I'm here for it.
Yeah.
I think it's a shit show that I love watching.
It was cool. I think, I don't know if it happens in this election, but like, I just, I don't know why. In my head, I just imagine the presidential candidates having like a TikTok live battle one day.
Oh my god!
And just,
Oh
like,
my
see,
god!
like, who the voters are like swinging for and stuff, like in real time. I feel like that would be hard. So,
Yeah.
Trump, Kamala, make it happen.
Or like debates to be like streamed live.
Yeah.
And like more so like split screen style.
Yeah. Just the idea for like a TikTok live battle. It's just like them versus each other and like people are gifting. I guess that could be like
Oh my god,
donations.
that's so wild.
Yeah.
It brings me to this you know how people say that like Simpson they predict the future?
Yeah.
And there's this episode where Lisa becomes president, and low-key they're comparing it to Kamala Harris becoming president.
Yeah.
And how like the world would basically go crazy. But like but yeah, I don't know. I think it's funny how he forgot that Biden was in the race.
Yeah.
And then he had to step back. I feel like we just all forgot about that.
It's funnier that he's still president right now. We haven't heard of him for the last like 3 months. I feel like
Yeah.
he may as well be dead. Like I don't know what he's going, what he's up to, but he may as well be dead. Like
Yeah.
no one knows where Biden is.
Yeah. A fun little like story that I feel like you hear is like apparently they had like his dog, his like family dog, like bit and injured like six people in the White House. And like I'm like, why is that dog so aggressive?
Yeah.
And it's like a whole thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's guarding a corpse, right? So.
Oh my gosh.
No, but I think Team Trump, Team Kamala. Comment down below who you're voting for. I'm voting for neither. Or who are you voting for? I feel like
I'm not American.
But if you were,
Myself, no.
fair. See, that's the way to go. It's so public, so PR trained. But no.
Comms management, baby.